A research presentation on dominant multiple intelligences among students of medical and health sciences. The authors: Dr. Zita Lobo, Associate Professor in English, Department of General Education; Dr. L. Syed A.F. El Zayat, Professor of General and Vascular Surgery; Dr. Omar Al-Jadan, Assistant Professor in Computer Science Engineering. This would be the brief outline of the presentation. Abstract. Thereafter, a very brief introduction, aims and objectives, and a methodology, medical education and multiple intelligences, and the process of data collection and data analysis, and the conclusions that we arrived at, and the future, what we envisage in the future with this research work, and finally the references. Abstract. Studies on learners' performance are now attributed to the dynamics of teaching learning process and not only on lack of motivation on the part of the learner as suggested in the past. The major challenge for the outcome-based teaching is that of selecting teaching methods that encourage all students with different cognitive abilities to achieve the goals of the curricula. This study correlates intelligence with learning styles in students of medical and health sciences to determine their preferred learning styles. This helps in the goal of guiding facilitation of teaching methodologies to suit the preferred learning styles of students. The questionnaire based on Howard Gardner's MI models was administered to first-year students of Medical and Health Sciences University of the years 2010-2011 and 2011-2012 and was statistically analyzed. The sample chosen for this survey consists of 234 students of first and second years of Medical and Health Sciences University of 2010 to 2012 batches. The results were separately analyzed for each batch and then merged together to get cumulative results. The keywords that would be used in this presentation would be multiple intelligences, outcome-based teaching, learning styles, and dominant intelligence. Introduction. Ever since the breakthrough in the study of intelligence by British psychologist Charles Spearman with his formulation of the G or general factor intelligence, there have been concerted efforts by other psychologists and neuroscientists to understand intelligence. In the local context of the United Arab Emirates, the UAE Ministry of Education, which oversees the quality of the medical curricula, emphasizes the physician's interpersonal skills and bedside manners simultaneously with the core curricula. The major challenge for the outcome-based teaching is that of selecting teaching methods that encourage all students with different cognitive abilities to receive and assimilate information and be able in future to synthesize and finally achieve the goals of the curricula has promised to achieve. Brain mapping of a given group of students will help educators develop the rich teaching learning context. These will progressively enhance their learning both in the classroom as well as in the workplace learning context. The inflexibility and permanence of the traditional theories of intelligence, that intelligence is fixed and that it can be just the ability to answer items on tests of intelligence, is questioned. Multiple intelligences pluralize the traditional concept. Howard Gardner, in defining intelligence as the capacity to process a certain kind of information that originates in human biology and human psychology, delineates the role of intelligence as the ability to solve problems, not just mathematical, but to approach a situation to achieve that goal. From the extensive evidence from various sources, from development psychology to psychopathological evidences from exceptional populations, data from cognitive psychology, psychometric studies, and from various other tools of measuring intelligence, he divides the intelligences into 7 categories rooted in the biological and psychological basis. The aims and objectives of the study was to correlate intelligence with learning styles in students of medical and health sciences to determine their preferred learning styles. This would further help in developing medical teacher resources to guide facilitation to suit the preferred learning styles of students. For better implementation of the curricula, the authors felt the need to measure the learning styles with Kolb's questionnaire in order to learn the dominant intelligences of the medical school students across all colleges of the university. Questionnaire based on Gardner's medical intelligences models was administered to first-year students of Medical and Health Sciences University of the years 2010, 2011, and 2011 and 2012. The sample was analyzed to determine the dominant intelligences and consequently their learning styles. A statistical analysis of the sample data was done. For this, the criteria and the interpretation were the following. Inclusion criteria: all students of medical and health sciences programs with only a maximum gap of 1 year between high school and college admission. Exclusion criteria: repeaters from RAC University and other universities and transfer students, and repeaters from other universities. Interpretation: multiple intelligence was considered to be dominant in our study if the percentage exceeds at least 50%. All MI scoring less than 50% were not included as dominant multiple intelligences and were considered to be in recession. Dr. Howard Gardner critiques the notion of a single human intelligence in his theory of co-operations in multiple intelligence in order to determine the learning styles of people. A core operation is a basic information processing mechanism in the brain through the synaptic neural pathways. The major assumption in the multiple intelligences theory is that although people may have a set of dominant intelligences, the others can be developed or honed through learning and practice. In the book Frames of Mind, Gardner strongly propounds that no two profiles of intelligences are the same. If there was one kind of intelligence, there could have been one kind of assessment, one kind of curricula, but in reality, one student can learn better with hands-on, another in a different way. Gardner demystifies the idea of common intelligence. Gardner initially formulated a list of 7 intelligences, which later included natural intelligence and spiritual intelligence. The first 2 have been typically valued in schools. The next 3 are usually associated with the arts, and the final 2 are what Gardner calls personal intelligences. Linguistic intelligence involves sensitivity to spoken and written language and ability to learn languages, and the capacity to use language effectively to express oneself rhetorically or poetically, and language as a means to remember information. Logical mathematical intelligence consists of the capacity to analyze problems logically, carry out mathematical operations, and investigate issues scientifically. In Gardner's words, it entails the ability to detect patterns, reason deductively, and think logically. Musical intelligence involves skills in the performance, composition, and appreciation of musical patterns. It encompasses the capacity to recognize and compose musical pitches, tones, and rhythms. Certain functions are located in the right hemisphere of the brain, although musical skills are not as clearly localized in the brain as natural language are. There is evidence that amnesia or a selective loss of musical ability can also occur. Bodily kinesthetic intelligence entails the potential of using one's whole body or parts of the body